Talking with Nomo. Talking with Nomo. Step in the room, let's go. Got that spark, got that flow. Quick hit talk, real talk. Every word on the mark. Lean close, hear that name every time. Bring the flame, one more round, let it show. Talking with Nomo.
Welcome, everybody. Another exciting episode of Talkin with Nomo. It's election season, and we are interviewing the people that want to be your people to lead the people. And with us tonight is Miss Christy Miley. Say hello to Christy, everybody. All right, Christy, take her away.
All right, so to all the people out there, my name is Christa Miley. I am a current fourth generation resident in Indiantown, born and raised. I currently sit on the PZAB board, Planning, Zoning, and Appeals board. I've sat on that board for the last 5 years. And the reason why I've decided to enter the race is because with changes that have been going on here recently, I just feel like our community, our town is moving fast, and it's moving in the direction that I think we should be. I just think we should be dialing it back and trying to work on other things before we go into this next chapter.
Wow, those are big words right there, and I am glad to hear you say them. I was taken with you at a PZAB meeting, and you and Susan Gibbs Thomas were asking some very tough questions, and it seemed like you were trying to get bulldozed almost into not asking those questions. And I have to thank you for asking the questions that you did and making the effort that you did to stand up for people. It showed me something about you, and I like that look on you. You definitely have Indiantown's interest at heart from what I can see of you already being in service. So, good job. What are some of the things that you've learned by being on that PZAB that you think you can carry with you?
Thank you. So some things that I've learned by I've learned about politicking. I've learned some of the intricacies of how government works, local government on a local level. I've had the opportunity to have a better understanding of the LDRs and the different things that we use that makes the wheel spin when it comes to pushing the community forward.
Yeah, where are some of those let's just call them spots in the LDRs that you've seen that could potentially use some revamping?
I would say when it comes to our, for me, my focus will be on infrastructure and traffic. It has been brought to my attention also about I spoke with a resident. I'm sorry,
No, you're fine.
I just lost my train of thought.
It's late in the day. Mine goes too. I actually had a cup of coffee before we sat down so I could keep mine from running off the track because my train does that from time to time. Yeah, but let's go back to what you were talking about though on the infrastructure side, and look a little bit at let's just say the water. I mean, the water is a big thing right now, and how do we go about getting the people that are already here on a usable system? It seems to me that I'm with you. There's some priorities that don't seem right. I mean, I understand the obstacles they have to overcome, but it seems like there's some priorities out of line here. They're given preference one way and not the other. Have you seen or heard from anybody that they feel kind of same thing going on?
No, I haven't. If
No?
I'm honest, I haven't.
So,
And to answer, well, I haven't dug deep into. I know that we have a water issue because I live here. I experience it, and I haven't. That's something that does need to be addressed. I haven't had the opportunity to dig deep in regards to a resolution, but that is something that I will, research, and maybe if we double back, I may have an answer to that question, but I don't have one at this moment.
okay, yeah, no, that's awesome. But let's talk too about where you were talking about traffic, and wanting to do some more work on infrastructure. One of the items that I've talked to other candidates about is the fact that there are 4.5 million square feet of approved under roof projects that have already been signed off on from the village council. And a lot of them have a conditional um, stipulation attached to them that says you can't actually start. We're going to approve you. You can go, we're going to say you can build that 20,000 square feet of commercial and 50,000 square or 850 townhomes, but you can't actually start until our water plant comes online and can get water to you. There are 4.5 million square feet already approved that can't even begin building because the water plant isn't able to supply water, yet they continue to annex in and accept new applications. So when I hear you say you think it's time to kind of put the brakes on and slow down a little bit, I think a lot of people are going to agree with you because there's some major impact that's coming once that water plant comes online and all those projects start tearing down the trees and putting up the condos. It's coming.
Right. And so even with that, right, this is another reason what made me want to run because uh in recent meetings I'm asking hard questions and not I don't feel like my questions were answered. And so it's to say all of this development is going on and we have an issue with our water capacity, no water capacity, but you mean to tell me that you keep approving application after application after application. And what caught me a little off guard was the fact that um while I had to think about this after the fact, though, but because it is something we as a PZAB board did vote on, or whatever the case may be. But was the fact that when these applications are, give our recommendation and they go on to the council and they get approved. Once the build out phase starts, it doesn't come back to the public view, and that concerns me.
Yeah.
I don't think that, I sat on this board a while and I can say that in the beginning, how I voted, maybe I wasn't as uh, educated in the process as I, could have been or should have been in the beginning. But now that I have sat on that board and I've had the opportunity to become more educated in the process and, utilize the resources that may be available or whatever the case may be, I have questions and it seems like the questions that I have can't be answered. And so, and I just feel like our sitting council, they're not doing a good job. They're not doing a good job in representing the people. They're not asking the questions that need to be asked, in my opinion. They're not advocating for. I just feel like they forgot who they serve.
There you
So
go. Yeah. Yeah. I had that conversation with somebody a couple hours ago and it was along the same lines of they seem to be serving the institution of the government and not the will of the people. And the priority to them seems to be keeping this animal, this machine of, tax and spend together regardless of what the people want, and they just keep looking for all these things that are going to bring them money. They're looking at a gold pot and thinking that because they're going to get tax money, it's going to mean good things for the people here. And it's like, you got to, in order to get that tax money, you have to get things like data centers here. Where do you stand on this whole data center thing?
Well, I'll tell you this. I I don't have I'm not opposed to data centers, but I'm not going to say that I support data centers either. So, and when we had that particular meeting, I had questions that needed to be asked. I went into that meeting with an open mind because I believe that if you go, if your mind should be open regardless, because to me it seems like people go into these meetings closed-minded. If you go in closed-minded, then you don't have the opportunity to listen to the people because your mind was already made up. But I'm neither here nor there. I'm going to be honest when it comes to the data centers. If the people have questions, I have questions. If those questions aren't met with factual information or whatever the case may be, if there's things that conditions that we need to have in writing, this, that, and the third, and it can't be done, then my vote will be no each and every time.
Fantastic. Well, that's good to hear. And that kind of sits in the same place that I'm at. I'm not against data centers. I am against just the blind allowance for them to develop whatever they want at all costs. And there are impacts both at a health and an environmental level that come from, forget it's a data center. I mean, let's just say we were building a John Deere factory that was 2.5 million square feet large and was using enough water and enough electricity to run the equivalent of 8 or 9 Indian towns on a daily basis. So, I'm not against them either, but I'm not for, like you had said, this rapid rush towards bring it in all of the sudden without it taking any real investigation into what the what the secondary effects might be, or the third order effects might be from all this. It seems irresponsible to me. So I think a lot of people are going to be glad to hear you say that. That's a very good approach, in my opinion. I like it. I like it.
Okay.
So what else is going on out there? What are you seeing happening or hearing from people? You've been out there for a while now. People are talking to you. What are they telling you their concerns are?
So I'm hearing a lot about traffic, the traffic on 710.
Hmm.
People are, you know, concerned about the safety, being that, we have this new Dollar Tree that's here, and the McDonald's isn't so new. And the how that whole thing is set up is unsafe. And then if you go down up the road to the Terralago area, I've witnessed myself a whole line of cars sitting there for I don't know how long they would have been sitting there, but because there's no light there, it's hard for them to enter onto 710. So
Hmm.
I just feel like as we, as growth comes to the community or whatever the case may be, we just keep in mind that our current conditions and how those conditions needs to be addressed before we continue to grow.
Yeah, well, that's too logical, Krista. That makes sense. You might have a hard time selling that one into them. But I see that goes back again where I was. I mean, they keep approving all these projects, and that is just future traffic that's already coming. And you know as well as I do how long it takes to get the upgrades done that are necessary on these roads, especially when you're talking state roads. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely crazy. Well, what do you what is it you wanted to let everybody know? I've been asking you a lot of stuff. What are your top three things? You said infrastructure, and what else was on the top of that list? Traffic.
Infrastructure, traffic, and I would say transparency.
Uh,
People on the council forget that who they represent. There's supposed to be representation of our community. They're supposed to be listening to our voices, listening to what we have to say, and reporting back to us. And they should be serving the public, which I don't feel that they do. You know, they go in with their own biases, their minds made up, this, that, and the third. Well, guess what? It's election time. I will hope that the people, you know, are fired up and they go out and vote. If you want to see change, you have to be that change. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you all the way on that one. Yeah, there are a lot of people that I talk to that are worried about the same thing, just this push to get all of the development in here. Did you see where the village now through Taryn has requested $8 million from the Florida Senate Appropriations Committee for Josh and the Garcia Group to renovate the Seminole Inn?
Yeah, I was reading about that. And I don't, it baffles me because we have so many other, this this group is already rich. And then we have so much other important things going on in our community, like our water. But you have time to, as a governmental body, do private work for a developer. Like, I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I can tell you that the governor's fingerprints are on this one. He has a hold, or Josh has a hold on him. There's a deep connection there. Josh is a recent appointee to the Florida Wildlife Commission as well,
Yeah.
by the governor. So, I mean, the ties there are strong. But you know, I think just the when you talk about who's serving who, that kind of answers that question, because when we had a council, this same council, I believe, was the one that did not want to fund the retrieval and upgrades of the civic center to harden it to be able to have a hurricane shelter and or a cold weather shelter, and yet they asked for $8 million to put into a private company's renovation. So I think I'm with you. There's a new spirit and a new sense of character that needs to take over within the village council and the village, and a new type of leadership. And the best type of leadership I can see is not being an authoritarian and beating people over the head with a stick. It's by example.
Yes.
And by the words that you use and the things that you do. And your words are simple. Your ideas are very, very real. They're not complicated because they're basically real. You know, so those things are the best ones to carry forward, and that's good leadership. So I wish you a lot of luck with this. How can people get in touch with you, or how can they find out more about your campaign?
Okay. Well, they can visit my website. I have a website. It's mileyforcouncil.com, and that's MileyForCouncil.com. I can also be reached via email at christaforvillagecouncil@gmail.com.
Cool.
And I can be reached by phone as well. That phone number would be, hold on just a second, I'm sorry.
No worries.
I don't want to give out the wrong number.
While you're looking for that, if somebody wanted to donate to your campaign, what's the best way to do that? Should they go through your website, or you know, how do they get in touch with you?
The donation can go through my website, or it can be mailed in the form of a check to P.O. Box 1803 in Indiantown, Florida 34956.
Fantastic.
And the phone number is 561-253-5590, and that number is also on the website. All my methods of contacting me will also be on my site.
Fantastic. Hello,
Yeah.
is that better? Okay. I'm going to edit out. I'm going to edit out all of the dead spots that we had in between there for the people. But good Lord, it's like the cosmos are keeping us apart from this conversation. They don't want us to do this. We're going to do it anyway. Screw them. All right. So we need to do what? What do we need to do here? We have gotten your website out. We have gotten all the information about how people can donate. Oh, I have one last question for you.
Yes.
It was mentioned to me today, and you know this person, that said it all seems to start with the annexation when it came down to these data centers and the problems that we're having with a lot of stuff right now, especially on this FP&L side. And it should never have been allowed to go from the agricultural to a light industrial to begin with. And the excuse was it's because we don't have any agricultural overlays that they could come into. Oh, well, by golly, why don't we create them? Should you know, because we have Project Beskar that is a proposed annexation of 1,200 acres now that wants to go from agricultural to come into light industrial to move to another data center. There's already 4 of them that are proposed and in the proposal stage. So annexations, how do you feel about creating some agricultural different types of overlays that people could actually bring their ag land in, whether it's for agricultural residential or, you know, some kind of an agricultural purpose?
I would be in support of that. I feel like, you know, we'll be connecting again. This won't be our last time talking. And maybe that's a conversation that, you know, we'll be able to have, because I don't know, you know, a lot about that subject. But on the same note of what you just said, so it was also strange to me when I was reviewing this particular project that you're speaking on, that you had the light industrial. It was classified as light industrial, but it was a major project, which common sense, light and major doesn't even go together. So like that was another one of my concerns that I had asked about and couldn't get a question, you know, an answer to that question either. But yeah.
Well, that's because the problem that the village has right now, and Wade will argue that it's 180 that won't allow you to make any changes to anything to make them more restrictive. Fine, I'll go with that. However, when you are bringing in a building that's 2.5 million square feet, and your LDR that you're putting it into only handles buildings up to 500,000 square feet or less, you've got a problem. You have to address, because you can't make 2.5 million equal 500,000. And I think that's where you were going with it. How do we take something like this that's never existed before and put it into these categories? It's like they're trying to shove that square peg in a round hole. Why? Why? That's the question I keep asking. Why?
Right.
Why not take another direction? And why won't Wade and Taryn offer alternate ways that you could, you know, maybe make the square hole round, or go find a square peg? You know, it just, I don't understand why they're not putting the other potential solutions on the table for people. And that bothers me, and a lot of other people too, I think.
I'm certain.
Yeah.
And the lack of transparency.
Yep. Well, listen, I look forward to speaking with you again. Let's let your campaign get going. Oh, by the way, I understand that there was a third person that filed for the same seat today. Were you aware of that?
Yeah, I heard about it.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. He better be careful, because he's got a homestead exemption on his house in St. Lucie that's at risk by doing what he's doing. So the shenanigans, going back to transparency again. All right, Indian Town, keep your eyes open. It's coming hard and it's coming fast. You got to know what you're doing and who you're doing it with. So Christa, thank you for taking the time again. I look forward to talking to you again. And if you have any questions that you need answered, or I can help you find, let me know.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. I hope you have a great evening.
I'm going to try. You too.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Talking with Nomo. Talking with Nomo. Step in the room, let's go. Got that spark, got that flow. it, talk, real talk. Every word on the mark. Lean close, hear that name every time. Bring the flame, one more round, let it show. Talking with Nomo.